In the summer of 2015, when the media interest in the refugee crisis was really at its highest, I woke up on a Sunday morning and knew that I had to do something. I woke my husband up in the middle of the night and said, I'm going to go to Cali, and he said, go back to sleep and we'll talk about it in the morning. And by the time the morning came, essentially I had arranged it. I had told my friends I was going, I had hired a van, and most importantly, I had made contact with an organisation who were already working in Cali that we could pair up with. The following week, friends and family and people who had come to know about it brought items that I had asked to this particular hall, and we packed them in a van and we drove to Cali. When you get to person number 331 and your van is empty and you have nothing left to give, it was a really difficult experience. I'm not sure I felt any better on the way back than I did on the way down. But when I came back to Glasgow, we'd had a little bit of traction through social media about what we were doing, and hundreds of people got in touch to say, well, actually, I would like to help too, but I don't know how. And through that process, there were a number of key people who subsequently become, amazing friends. We're almost like a kind of small family of people that I didn't know, who didn't know each other. And out of that, we made a charity.
In Lesvos, I volunteered in Karatepe, the Syrian family camp. We had a small tea shelter and food hut, which was basically a tent that we could heat up some dal or some tea, basically to give people some hot food. On the beaches, there would be lifeguards from other agencies who would go into the water and actually start helping people come out, because it's quite a chaotic experience. So you kind of leave it to certain groups of people to do certain things and you stand back waiting on it to calm down. So we would be showing people how to put on the foil blankets next to the skin. We give them fresh socks and then a plastic bag to put over the fresh socks to put their shoes back on, so that they weren't putting on wet shoes again. There were medics there to help people. You have people coming off the boats and quite distressing scenes.
People will turn up with van loads of items that they've pulled together just from their local communities. They bring school supplies, anything that we have put on the list.
Whilst the first group of volunteers from SAFR went to Lesvos and to Karatepe, they noticed how restricted some of the large charities were and decided to just really get stuck in. Borrowed a hut from the UNHCR that wasn't being used and set up a small clothing store so that obviously women could come in and put on new clothes, and there was a small curtain, etc. Because I was the second team that went out from SAFR, I actually got to see how that hut was now fully in operation, and we would be able to give people dry clothes, all because our team went out and there was done a bit of guerrilla volunteering, really.
The main organisations that we work with are Help Refugees and Hand in Hand for Syria, and they're the guys that are on the ground. They can tell us exactly what's happening, what's needed, and they give us the list of what we send out.
I met with Claire for the first time, and she told me that they have lots of donations, and they're just like, they don't know how to take it to Syria. The role of Hand in Hand was to take the container, ship it to Turkey, and then across the border to Syria, and then distribute that there.
And SAFR have really taken on a bit of a coordinating role, just to pull all that together, box it, log it, and deal with all the customs and all the logistics. We deal with that.
I'm just boxing up all the toiletries, making sure they're not too heavy is the big challenge.
3 full containers, each which contain over 1,000 boxes, to Syria and to Greece as part of the winterisation programme.
Like everything we do here, it's just like a drop in the big sea there, the big ocean there. But just to see a smile on a child's face.
After we had done a lot of work abroad, we really began to think about what we wanted to do here. One, because it gave people who wanted to volunteer with us an opportunity to volunteer at home.
Well, thanks for coming to meet us. Yeah, no problem. So, have you volunteered before?
And also because we were very aware that when people first arrive in a city, it must be hugely overwhelming. Filling in forms, applying for bank accounts, things like that we perhaps take for granted.
Is that the kind of thing you did at the Citizens Advice? That's kind of the things that they do?
Yeah, that's exactly what we did.
At very short notice and a bit of a whim, took a very small unit in Govan, which is where the vast majority of refugees and asylum seekers arrive in Glasgow will first arrive. And we just made a space. We have sofas, we have a couple of computers that people get on the internet, people can come and have a cup of tea.
We did not play, and it's because the weather was bad.
And we just wanted it to be a safe space that people could come where they didn't know where else to go.
The housing and we'll hand this form in together, so then we know that it's complete.
We now offer English classes, we offer some exercise classes and sports facilities.
Indeed, I was just passing by and just popping.
We realised very quickly that language is an issue, and even just having the opportunity to use English in a conversational way. People know that they can come to us for help with things that it may be difficult to get help with elsewhere.
Certain things which people can't guarantee, that's the issue.
I pray for people to be human again, all people, just to believe in humanity and leave fighting and leave war and leave all kind of this kind of stuff. I hope peace will come back to the Middle East, because it has been like a very difficult 7 years in Syria now.